Hotkey Books presents House of Hollow, written by Krystal Sutherland and read by Eleanor Bennett. Prologue. I was 10 years old the first time I realized I was strange. Around midnight, a woman dressed in white slipped through my bedroom window and cut off a lock of my hair with sewing scissors. I was awake the whole time, tracking her in the dark, so frozen by fear that I couldn't move, couldn't scream. I watched as she held the curl of my hair to her nose and inhaled. I watched as she put it on her tongue and closed her mouth and savored the taste for a few moments before swallowing. I watched as she bent over me and ran a fingertip along the hook-shaped scar at the base of my throat. It was only when she opened my door, bound for the bedrooms of my older sisters, with the scissors still held at her side, that I finally screamed. My mother tackled her in the hall. My sisters helped hold her down. The woman was rough and rabid, thrashing against the three of them with a strength we'd later learn was fueled by amphetamines. She bit my mother. She headbutted my middle sister, Vivi, so hard in the face that her nose was crushed and both of her eye sockets were bruised for weeks. It was Gray, my eldest sister, who finally subdued her. When she thought my mother wasn't looking, she bent low over the wild woman's face and pressed her lips against her mouth. It was a soft kiss right out of a fairy tale, made gruesome by the fact that the woman's chin was slick with our mother's blood. For a moment, the air smelled sweet and wrong. A mixture of honey and something else. Something rotten. Gray pulled back and held the woman's head in her hands, and then watched her, intently, waiting. My sister's eyes were so black, they looked like polished river stones. She was 14 then, and already the most beautiful creature I could imagine. I wanted to peel the skin from her body and wear it draped over mine. The woman shuddered beneath Gray's touch and then just stopped. By the time the police arrived, the woman's eyes were wide and far away. Her limbs so liquid she could no longer stand and had to be carried out, limp as a drunk, by 3 officers. I wonder if Gray already knew then what we were. The woman, the police would later tell us, had read about us on the internet and stalked us for several weeks before the break-in. We were famous for a bizarre thing that had happened to us 3 years earlier, when I was 7, a thing I couldn't remember and never thought about, but that apparently intrigued many other people a great deal. I was keyed into our strangeness after that. I watched for it in the years that followed, saw it bloom around us in unexpected ways. There was the man who tried to pull Vivi into his car when she was 15 because he thought she was an angel. She broke his jaw and knocked out 2 of his teeth. There was the teacher, the one who Gray hated, who was fired after he pressed her against a wall and kissed her neck in front of the whole class. There was the pretty, popular girl who had bullied me, who stood in front of the entire school at assembly and silently began to shave her own head, tears streaming down her face as her dark locks fell in spools at her feet. When I found Gray's eyes through the sea of faces that day, she was staring at me. The bullying had been going on for months, but I'd only told my sisters about it the night before. Gray winked, then returned to the book she was reading, uninterested in the show. Vivi, always less subtle, had her feet up on the back of the chair in front of her and was grinning from ear to ear, her crooked nose wrinkled in delight. Dark, dangerous things happened around the Hollow sisters. We each had black eyes and hair as white as milk. We each had enchanting 4-letter names. Gray, Vivi, Iris. We walked to school together. We ate lunch together. We walked home together. We didn't have friends, because we didn't need them.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?